today. This conversation is for women who feel overwhelmed, stuck in their thoughts, and disconnected from themselves. Today, I am joined by Maurine Xavier, a woman life transformation who guide helps women move from self-doubt and overwhelm into clarity, claim, and confidence. Maureen, thank you so much for joining today, and I warmly welcome to you. Okay, and hello, Maureen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for
Okay,
inviting me. I appreciate it.
okay. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Okay, Maureen. Now I would love to invite you to introduce yourself for our audience.
Sure. My name is Maurine Xavier. I live in the central coast of California in the United States. I am 63 years old. I have been married for 37 years. I have two adult children. And my passion in the world is to be, love, and share love. And one way I am doing that is I'm taking the journey that I have had personally, depressed, anxious, obsessed. I was in accounting for over 3 decades. And while I was really good at it, I was a CPA, I was in mortgages. While I was really good at it, it was not my soul's journey. So now I'm passionately helping women who feel weighed down, who feel stuck in their heads, and who often are afraid to share their true voice and share their true feelings, help them get out of their own way so they can feel more confident, more clear, more calm, start speaking up for themselves, start taking their own leaps of faith to follow their heart and follow their intuition, and trust themselves and live the life that they know that they dream.
Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, Maureen. My first question is: can you share your journey for being a CPA to become a woman life transformation guide? What was the turning point?
The turning point for me was when I went back to. So I've had different iterations. So I was in accounting and finances, and then my first leap of faith, if you will, to follow my heart was when I started doing network marketing. Network marketing is so I was a direct sales company. They sold health products. And when I put the health products in my body, it brought me to life. It really helped my brain chemistry. So my personal experience is I've had depression and anxiety like my whole life until recently. And I was obsessive. I needed to do things perfectly. I needed to do things right. I was stressed and late and hard on myself. And when I started using their products, like my nervous system calmed down and I felt really energized and alive. So that was my first leap of faith out of accounting and into doing that. And my purpose there was to help with people around the world become emotionally, physically, and financially free. And I learned a lot. I started doing things I never thought I would do in accounting. And about 5 years in, I had to come to Jesus with myself and my bank account and my relationship with my husband, where, because I spent thousands of dollars more in personal development and products than I ever actually earned in the company. So when I had to come to Jesus with myself, I said, okay, I'm not going to continue to do this because it wasn't financially working out. However, I had built a team. So the way network marketing models work is you build teams. Like the team I had built had helped pay for a college for my one of my friends. So I was building a team and I was building an income. However, I wasn't reaping the benefits and rewards of all the work I was doing. So at the point where all my children were out of the house and they were no longer my primary responsibility, I kind of bit the bullet. I went back to work in accounting. And the longer I was in accounting, the more depressed I got. So I actually got hopeless and I got suicidal. I was in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the pain I'll describe is imagine what it's like, those invisible electric fences that you put up for dogs. Like imagine when a dog feels like when they cross over that electric fence. I was feeling like that 24/7. And so I was just in a lot of physical pain. And so if you will, the final leap of faith was when another thing I describe is I had one foot on the dock holding on tight to, if you will, safety, security, making money, doing things the old way, egoic mind, if you're familiar with that, and one foot on the boat saying, follow your heart, follow your purpose, let yourself be free, follow your passions. And when I went back to accounting that time, I was still one foot on the dock, one foot on the boat. I hadn't completely said a whole 100% yes to following my heart and following my soul. And during the time of when I went back into accounting, I finally got to the point where I was ready to pick my foot up off of that dock and put both feet on the boat. And so when I finally said 100% yes to that, I attracted a whole new set of teachers. I started doing something called channeling spirits. So I opened maybe a psychic medium. I don't call myself a psychic medium, but that may be one way of understanding it. I attracted teachers where I now had access to a whole level of consciousness and intelligence and guidance that I didn't have on my own. And I also went through a radical spiritual awakening. So I became a new person. And so that journey, then that part of the journey was in 2016. So it was at that point where I went through I had gone through these different stages. So the first stage was saying yes to my heart, trying it out, not working, going back to accounting. And then this time was where I said 100% yes to my soul. I said 100% yes to my soul's purpose. I started showing up in network marketing meetings. I don't know what it's like in Pakistan. However, for a woman to show up and say she channeled guidance for a living, and that was what made me part of what I do, was pretty bold. It was kind of out there. It was kind of like, oh yeah, we don't know about you, but I did it anyway. So it was really about me following my commitment and following my passion and just trusting. And I've been doing this part of my journey now, the life transformation guide part of my journey, since 2017. And what I realize now, when I look back at the period of when I went back to accounting and I was in pain 24/7, is I was not following my soul's path. Like that was kind of the final straw, if you will. I no longer had like the natural momentum and energy of my life force guiding my journey. It was literally shit. It was sheer grit and will. And so I know what it's like to have a soul's purpose and to have a soul's mission and to not be following it. And I also know what it takes to take a leap of faith and say 100% yes to your soul, and what the journey is at even after you say 100% yes to your soul, because then now that's been a whole nother journey of being a spiritual mentor, marketing, speaking, all these kinds of things. Does that answer your question?
Okay, that's really amazing, your journey. My next question is, many women appear successful on paper but feel disconnected inside. Why do you think this happens so often?
I'm sorry, I know I have. Can you repeat your question a little bit more slowly? I know you gave it to me, but I didn't understand you.
Okay, my question is, many women appear successful on paper but feel disconnected inside. Why do you think this happens so often?
Because I think we are trained to be that way. I think we as a society, like we as a world, are like that's the way we were trained to live. You are trained to be successful. You're trained to do a good job. If you're trained to go out and make a lot of money. You're trained to look good. And we're not. I think it takes a lot of courage and commitment in order to follow your heart, in order to go, if you will, against the grain. So I think it happens because we were like plopped on earth, and like, this is the way you do you do the earth journey. This is the way you do a successful earth journey. So we're going through what happens in the world when you go that way. And there's some of us who are here to follow another way and make a new path.
Okay, so my next question is, you often talk about women feeling overwhelmed and stuck in their heads. How does this state impact their daily lives?
Um, Well, they're not satisfied enough, for number one. When they're stuck in their heads, they usually find themselves, one of the descriptions, like, you find yourself, you feel like you're on a hamster wheel. You never really feel satisfied. You never really feel content. Even though you're doing a lot of things that you're told to do or that you think you should do, you're still kind of empty inside. Um, and you're wanting more out of life. You know there's more out of life. You're wanting more out of life, and you also know you're ready for a change. And sometimes you just don't know how to get there.
Okay, my next question is, in your experience, what emotional burdens do women most commonly carry without releasing it?
Um, I want to look at your question. Can you repeat that one again too, please?
Okay, my question is, in your experience, what emotional burdens do women most
All
commonly
right.
carry without releasing it?
Um, Emotional burdens that most often women carry is, we have kind of spirits that come and reside in the female body. There's an inherent inequality, if you will. It's, if it's some level, women were not, I don't want to say not born empowered. We don't realize how much power we have. So that's an emotional burden. It's as if we need to fight for power. We need to fight for our voice. We need to, we're not looked at as inherently equal. So for all I know is, in the United States, women could not even have checking accounts until in the 1970s. And I think there's, around the world, there's stuff like that going on all over. So the emotional burden you carry that you may not even realize is, you've got like this energetic chip in your DNA pattern that doesn't have you realizing you are powerful, you are unique, we are each our unique aspects of creator. So inherently, we are all equally powerful. Like, we don't realize that. Like, it's just, we walk around as though we're in a maze of not realizing, like, women are supposed to do this. You have children, you lead a family, you are subservient to the patriarchy or to other people's causes. So that's an emotional burden. And I know, because of the internal work I've done, like, it's literally an energetic imprint in our DNA. And it's possible to actually, like, release ourselves from that DNA imprint. However, I would say I know it because I'm so committed to the journey, but most women don't even realize it's an option. It's just like, this is the way it is to be a woman on planet Earth. And there's also many more, but that's, like, I'd say that's the biggest one that makes such a big difference in how comfortable and confident we are walking the planet and living our soul's journey.
Okay, so my next question is, your work focuses more on being rather than constant doing. Can you explain what that means in simple terms?
Hopefully. I know it's really not simple. So what I'm talking about is definitely not simple. Um, so I'd say specifically, and I'm going to channel this answer in because I'm getting a sense it's going to come better from the guy powers that be than Maurine. Um, Well, most human beings live in the doing world, live in action mode, live to get things done. And when you have things done a certain way, it feels good. What we focus on, or the work that Maurine focuses on, is we go back to your original blueprint. We go back to your point of origination. We go back to you being a spark of light that is an extension of God, force, or creator. And we work from there. So another way to say it is, people are human beings. People are not human doings. How often do you actually question yourself? If I was different, then things would be different. So Maurine walks into a room knowing 100% I am a human being and I have a choice in what I do. We help people become more aware that they have a choice in what they're doing instead of being a robot walking around in a pattern of doing that gets them somewhere. Is that understandable to
Okay.
you? Was that understandable?
Yeah. Yes, yes. You explaining really interesting and very deeply. So my next question is, you speak about soul agreements. What are they and how do they influence our life choices?
Sure. So I say soul agreements is what I believe is a soul is an energy body, if it will. A soul it's an energy body. It's a consciousness. And so we as human beings, the human form, so like the human physical form, and we have emotions, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have work that we do, we have relationships with our families, or we have relationships with people that we work with. Like the human being, or the act of being human, exists within the soul, within the energy body of the soul. And I also believe that a soul, that's the energy body of the soul, comes in and incarnates in a particular lifetime, a particular time period. And then soul agreements is we make an agreement with our creator that, okay, this is going to be the learning plan for this lifetime. I also believe in reincarnation, and we come back more than once. So a soul agreement is you make an agreement with your creator before any individual incarnation is, okay, this is going to be the overall plan of my life. This is what I agree to be. These are the things I'm going to learn. There are times we actually specifically agree that there are people we have had in lifetimes before that we're going to relate with them again. We may marry them again. We may come to complete agreements with them if we've had prior lifetimes with them where we've ended in a fight, or we ended in hate, or we ended up casting spells upon each other. It's like, okay, Maurine, this is your lifetime where you're going to clear your karma, or you're going to complete the hating of another person. So we actually literally attract to us then in a lifetime. We may attract to us specific people or specific situations so that we can live up to the agreement of, okay, I want to complete an unhealthy agreement I had with that person. For example, if you lived in another lifetime where, you could say, if this us all being souls, in another lifetime, this individual killed a member of your family, and you cast hate upon that person, and you wanted that person to die. Well, to the extent you wanted that person to die, you're still holding that. So you are still holding, I want that person to die. So you may attract that person in this lifetime to you so you can have the choice to make peace with that person, to shift your hate, to shift your regret, to shift your wanting ill upon another into love and forgiveness and peace. So there are times we attract these situations to us, or we attract specifically these people to us because it's an opportunity to make peace. And it's an opportunity to set yourself free from something like wanting wanting another person to die. That's a hurt on me. If I actually am holding that, that is an out of alignment with me. That's what I believe. So in order for me to be free, in order to me to live in love, I would have an opportunity to say, okay, that was then. Are there lessons I need to learn from them? Are there healings I need to do from them that I can do now? So I can literally set my soul and the energetics of my soul free. So that's an example of soul agreements. And in particular, in my lifetime, my soul agreement, I don't have the exact words for it. However, I know I agreed with God, or before I came to the planet, to pave a new way forward. I agreed to be a light. So I agreed to be in a family that was alcoholic, that was physically, emotionally violent, abusive and violent, that was very, very focused on education and supporting me to be educated and supporting me to be a successful woman. And I also then attracted a relationship with a husband where he and we together were making enough money so that I could invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in my well-being, so that I had the ability to do all this inner work on myself and all the psychology. I was in therapy and mentors and all this. I was given, and am still being given, the opportunity to have finances and investment, to invest in myself so that I can learn what I need to learn, and then I can share with others. Like, you don't have to be stuck in the past. You don't have to be stuck in the wounds of being in your childhood. You don't have to be stuck in the wounds of being a woman. You can see them for what they are. You can heal them, and you can create a new path for yourself built on love. So that's an example of what I say soul agreements are and how they work. And how they affect you is literally, so I'm also going to go a little bit further, because you asked how they affect you. How they affect you is, if you made a soul agreement before you came to the planet, unless you renegotiate that agreement and have a renegotiation agreement with your creator, you are not going to be able to get out of it. Like, as hard as you try to say, I do not, whatever your version of challenges are, or whatever your version of learnings are, if you keep having repeating patterns showing up in your life, pay attention to them, because that is what you agreed to be and do and learn and have before you came to the planet. So you can keep going the other way all you want, but you're going to keep snapping back. You need to either learn what you agreed to learn and move on, or you need to renegotiate your agreement, because that's just the way it is. It's the best I can tell. You don't override soul agreements. So they impact your everyday life in ways that you can't even understand. They're that powerful.
Okay, that's really amazing. You explained very deeply, and I really enjoyed this answer. So, my last question is, what message would you like to share with women who feel that something is missing in their lives?
I would say talk to your heart. So that was the first entryway for me. And it still is a continuing, it still is a very pivotal thing to me, is develop a relationship with your heart. Start to connect with the energy and the essence of your heart. I say within your heart is your soul agreements, is your life purpose, is it's also an entirely different vibration. So the vibration of the thinking mind is if you will a three-dimensional, or it's a linear vibration, whereas the energy of your heart is flowing and vibrant. If there's something called heart math in the United States, there's a company called the Heart Math Institute. And I have to apologize. I'm not. Um, yeah, I was about. Don't quote me on the numbers. However, I think what it is so the energy of your heart. So, if you will, if you're focusing on an intention or desire of your heart, and you're putting that vibration out into the world as to what you want to manifest, that the power of that vibration of your heart is 30 times greater than a thought or a belief that lives only in your head. So when you attune to the energy of your heart, and when you start letting the vibrations of your heart lead the way, it's 30 times more powerful. So you're literally going to be that much sending that vibration out that much more powerfully. And then the opportunity is to manifest what you desire 30 times more quickly too, because it's vibrating out at that level. And then I say vibration is how we manifest. So when we're in vibrational alignment, the results we desire just are attracted to us. The other thing I would say is make friends with your inner child. So what I believe to be true is each of us, within each of us, is our inner is the memory, is an inner child energy. And the inner child energy is more innocent and more alive and more open and more mystical and more powerful. And our inner child also often has a lot of wounding, like decisions that I made when I was little or have been reasons that I didn't know I made, like her fears, her concerns, so for specific example, I was afraid as a child that there would be violence in my family. And so I have had what I did was I went out and I started taking care of everyone. I wanted my mother and father to be happy. I wanted my mother and father to get along. I didn't want to get hit and I didn't want to get hurt. So what I did, my inner child decided, oh, my job is going to be to go out and make my mother happy and help my mother and father get along. So that's a lot of why I lived in my head. I won't go into more details about that. But so specifically, when you start making friends with your inner child and when you start getting to know your inner child, you can understand why you get in your way. You can help yourself break through the patterns and habits that limit you. So I would say those are the two biggest things I would leave you with is connect to your heart, make friends with your heart, and whatever you need to do to develop a pathway to knowing your inner child more and to setting her free, it helps you be and do what you're here to be and do.
Okay, that's really amazing message. So, Marine, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation and for sharing your time, insights, and energy with us today. We truly appreciate it, and thank you so much for giving me your precious time of your busy schedule.
My pleasure,
So,
my honor, and my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. I know it's 11:30 p.m. and where you live, so thank you for being awake at this time of night. I appreciate you.
okay, thank you so much for joining us today, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too,
So,
very much so.
so thank you so much, and Allah Hafiz. Goodbye.
Bye bye.